What's 9 plus 10? 19, 20, 21, 20, 21.
You stupid.
Chat, what is happening? You're doing great, Slippy. She doesn't get it. It's okay. Is this a meme? Is this... Chat, is this one of these... Is this one of these memes? Is this one of these memes? It's a Vine. It's a Vine. Chat. Okay, chat. Okay, sit down, chat. Come here. Chat, we need to have a discussion. Come here. Vine is a boomer meme. How'd you miss it? Chat. Come here. I downloaded Vine the week that it shut down. The same week that it shut down. I missed almost everything that was Vine because I, as a professional fucking idiot, I thought the same thing I do with every new social media that comes out because I'm an idiot. I thought, this is dumb. This will never catch on. It's going to die soon. I will wait to see if it becomes a phenomenon. And at that point, when my friends force me to get one, I will get one. And then Vine died. And I felt FOMO for the first time. Then I started watching Vine compilations on YouTube, only of the Watermelon Man. Watermelon! Strictly Watermelon Man. He had a helmet on his head, but I had a watermelon instead. That's exclusively. Slippy out here revealing what layer her chat is on. I had to move a few things around today, so I love that guy. I love that guy too. I remember watching every single Vine in a compilation that came out from that guy. I was on a trip to Seattle with an ex-boyfriend, and that trip to Seattle is when I realized I didn't want to be with him. I was like, man, this trip would be so much more fun if you were not here. Also, he was afraid of planes, so we had to take a train. It was like 48 hours in a freaking train.
Emotional damage.
I wanted to take a train once just to have the experience. As a Midwesterner, I'm very familiar with long car rides, and being on a train is essentially just a very long car ride with more uncomfortable seats. Unless you have like the money to afford like your own car, it's not worth it. Don't do it. It's like, unless you're going luxury, there's a reason we don't do trains in the United States. I mean, most of it is because of how unreasonably large our country is, and it's really difficult to it's really difficult to get things. Yeah, the US also hates making transportation system for the general populace and the poor. Okay, here's the thing. I really like trains. I like trains. Wow. Is buying your own room on a train that expensive? I mean, it's not prohibitively expensive, but it's like, it's pricey. And at that point, you might as well just take a plane in like business class. But so cargo trains actually have priority over passenger trains. And so it became, while we do have train lines going all across the United States, passenger trains do not get priority, at least the last time I checked. So because it's more important to transport industry and to keep the economy running than it is to move people around. So there was never that incentive to make trains better for people. So cars ended up becoming so widely available because the infrastructure was built for cars rather than trains. And it's also it's a really big country. And so we didn't have the time to build as fast as we were expanding to keep up with the like dense infrastructure that would be needed to maintain that sort of thing. So you'll see like subways and stuff are really popular on the East Coast because it was a lot more condensed back then. And so they had the time to kind of build the infrastructure around public transportation before individual cars were really popularized, but the rest of the country did not. That coupled with cargo trains getting priority over passenger trains and privatization of public transportation, all of that kind of became a large cluster of a reason why we don't have great train infrastructure in the States. But man, when I freaking want trains! I'm not gonna lie, chat, I'm still on a freaking like email server list for like the Cross California train endeavor because I signed up back in college and I was really excited for the super train across California. I was like, yes, this is gonna be revolutionary. And then I realized how obnoxious the American government system is, and it's never gonna happen strictly because a lot of things. Another thing why trains don't happen now is because approvals have to go through every single county and every single like city that it would go through, and the timing schedule and approving schedules, some of them are just, it's like systematically impossible to get things passed on the right timeline in order to start construction on the train, like the railroad, because as soon as like one timeline is like, okay, well, we've passed and approved it, but the other one is like, we have a waiting period before we can pass and approve this, and the waiting period for the other one outweighs and like is a different length of time and completely encompasses the approval period of the other county or city. And so it's nearly impossible to get everything approved, and nobody's going to want to invest in a train line that goes across California if you can only build one segment at a time, and there's a chance that like halfway down the segment that one county or city is just going to be like, no, you can't build that. So that like you can't plan it even, like that you can't even get past the planning stage. And that's what I've seen over the however many years since I've signed up for this newsletter. And it got so disheartening that I started not actually reading the bulletins as they came in. And I freaking love trains, and I loved that bulletin. And daggone it, politics has ruined trains. Slippy talks about the history of trains and why they're no longer cost-effective ASMR. This would have been so perfect for a nerd voice routine. No. What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, I don't want to waste time. Hashtag justice for trains. Yes. Doomer train newsletter. I love trains. Sounds like any change would take on a full federal works project. Yes. And the federal government is never going to do that because they don't care. That like hurt my jaw. I was talking so long about trains. Slippy, what you on about? The Cross California Train Project. It was my passion in college. My dream, which will never happen. And the first moment where I realized justice does not always prevail.